All right, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Jumpmaster X podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about breaking a vertical jump plateau and more specifically, how you can lose body fat and get leaner to break a vertical jump plateau. All right. Now, like the key to jumping higher is relative strength, right? So, your strength in relation to your body weight, and you want to make sure that's rising, and that's where a big part of jump training and jumping high, it's going to be heavily reliant on how strong you are relative to your body weight. Like lighter athletes with the same strength levels essentially jump higher than heavier athletes with the same strength levels. It's as simple as that. Like when we look at our own athletes, like the guys that jump the highest, there's a very typical trend between them having the higher relative strength levels than the guys that aren't jumping as high. And obviously this is only one factor, all right, but it's a huge factor behind maximizing your vertical, right? Some of the biggest vertical jump breakthroughs have come from not just from lifting more, but from getting leaner while getting stronger at the same time, right? So like in saying that, like for myself, at the moment, I'm about 3 to 4 kilos heavier than I should be, and a lot of that isn't necessarily muscle; it's body fat. And I've noticed definitely an impact on my vertical jump and how high I'm jumping at the moment. It's definitely impacted it. Even though I'm stronger at the moment, my absolute strength is like up.
Down?
No, my
Your
absolute
absolute oh, your
strength is
absolute strength
up.
is up. Sorry, yeah.
My my relative strength is actually down, and that's why I'm jumping a little bit lower at the moment. So I'm putting a lot of work into getting lighter, well, at least maintaining my strength, if not ideally getting stronger, right? So how to know if you're carrying extra weight that's holding you back, right? Body fat versus muscle, like it's not just about getting lighter. You need to focus on getting leaner, right? Because you don't want to make sure you're not losing muscle. You need to ensure you're prioritizing losing body fat, ideally. Like around, like typically the best and the highest jumpers, they're around. It ranges a lot, Tom. Like, what's the leanest you've seen someone be?
It's probably Stevie, eh? Stevie Christophers.
Yeah, how
He's
long do
like
you reckon he is?
8, 7 or 8.
7 or 8%.
It's
Okay.
hard to say though. It's hard to say because it really depends on which test you do. Like, there's the ones inside the gym that we go to called Revo Fitness.
Yeah.
And they always tend to undershoot it because I once did it and it said I was like 5.4, which is not correct at all. But if we're just looking like a DEXA scan, like obviously he's not going to go and do that himself, but just based on those kind of things, if you look at like pro bodybuilders who are like 5'6", I'd say the leanest jumper I've seen Stevie about 7 or 8. But
Yeah.
yeah, he's like
Yeah.
a rare kind for sure.
He's crazy. So I would say the best jumpers, they range from around 7% body fat to 12% body fat. Around about, some people might be closer to 15. It's very dependent on genetics and how low
Yeah.
you can go without running into issues. But for you, Tom, like what sort of percentage would you say you're around at the moment? Obviously, it's quite hard to get an exact percentage, but where would you
Yeah.
estimate it to be right now?
I'd say 11 or 12, probably.
11 or 12. Like you
Mm.
got veins in your legs right now, still, right?
Yeah.
And how high are you
Yeah.
jumping? How high are you testing consistently every week?
Anything over 45.
Like 45 plus.
Mm. Yeah, 45 every week for like 3 weeks straight.
For myself, when I've jumped my best and jumped my highest, I've also been my leanest too. And
Yep.
that's when my jumps felt the most effortless, like I was just bouncing off the ground and I just was just floating up. Was when I
Mm.
was my leanest. When I was getting, I can tell like I'm lean, when I start to get that little ab vein that goes up to my belly button, right around there.
Is it not there at the moment?
Nah, definitely
Okay.
not.
Okay.
like I still have abs, but it's just like I'm just holding way too much fat at the moment. And the thing is, for myself, I hold it mostly in my legs and around where my butt is and stuff like that. That's where I store it most.
Okay,
So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
very, very hard for me to get veins in my legs for that reason. Um, but yeah, anyways, like the highest jumpers, the most powerful jumpers, they sit anywhere from around 7 to 12%, maybe going slightly higher, but it's not often. Typically, they're leaner than 15% as a general rule. So essentially, like some signs you might need to lean out is if your strength is improving, but your jump isn't, right? You might feel quite
Mm.
sluggish when you go to jump instead of like bouncy. Like I was saying before, when I jump my highest, I feel like I'm just bouncing off the ground. I can rebound quickly and just almost like float up. Right. So if your jumps are feeling sluggish, feel like you're getting stuck in the mud. You feel like you're feeling a little bit clunky when you jump. That might be a sign you need to lean out. Another one is you get tired fast in jump sessions. Like you can't jump for as long. Like for myself, I've definitely noticed that. Like as I've gained weight, I can't jump as long. I remember I used to be able to jump for an hour and a half, no problem. But as I've gained like 4 kilos or so, like 45 minutes to an hour tops for
Yeah.
myself.
Hmm.
I don't know if you've noticed that, Tom. Like when you've gotten a little bit heavy, you can't jump as long typically.
Yeah, I don't really know. I haven't really noticed that much. Like, because my weight hasn't really fluctuated like drastic amounts. Like, since maybe 2021, I would have gained like 4 kilos.
Yeah,
So it's not really like it's. I think for me, it's more to do with like how much I ate the night before, like is
yeah,
how long I can dunk for. Um,
yeah.
but I can definitely see because you said you gained more like 4 or 5 kilos in a couple months, a month. I don't know.
No, it was more over the course of like a year. Over the past 3 months, I've
Okay.
gone up probably like a kilo and a half, 2 kilos.
Okay. So yeah, it's
So
just kind of creeped up.
yeah, that's what happens.
Okay.
It's slowly like when you gain
Hmm.
weight. Normally, it's not too sudden. Most of the time, it creeps up slowly over time, over the course of 6 months to a year, and then before you know
Yeah.
it, you're like 4 kilos heavier. You know, um, but I guess the more obvious signs you need to lean out is obviously one, if you can't see your abs 100%, you need to lean out. Um, that's a big one. So if you don't feel like you're falling in between that 7 to 12% range, maybe even 15, just depends on who you are. You definitely need to lean out and make that a focus of your training. Jumping, like I put this out in a post recently. Jumping is fat phobic. It's got no mercy. If you're carrying too much body fat, it's going to impact your performance.
Hmm.
Um, so would you add any other key signs there, Tom?
Key signs that they need what? Someone needs to get
Lean
leaner.
out. Yeah, focus on
Mm,
getting lighter.
well, it's really just a case of like if you want to truly see and maximize your genetic potential, it's literally one of the easiest ways you can increase your vert. Like, say you're 20% body fat, you get yourself down to 15% over the course of like 3 to 5 months, however long it takes. It's literally 3 inches on your vert. Like, why would you not want to do that? In my opinion, like it's like
Exactly.
you can train the same. You can definitely still get stronger, but it's just like the easiest thing. And it's not even like, oh, maybe you're gonna jump higher. It's like guaranteed you'll jump higher. So if I was in that position, I would definitely consider that for sure. And real quick, people might be a little bit confused on like absolute strength and relative strength. If you want to calculate your relative strength, so that's like how strong you are compared to your body weight, literally find, say it's a squat, get your squat max, divide it by your body weight, and then that's the number. And you want to keep seeing that number go up. So say you squat 200, you weigh 100, you know, try and stay, get down to 90, and squat 210. Your ratio's gone up. So yeah, that's what pretty much most jump training is, right, Austin? For us at least.
Pretty much. That is
Mm-hmm.
facts, man. That is facts. So how much does losing fat actually help your vertical, right? So it's hard to put an exact number on it, but the 1 inch per 5 pounds rule. Like many athletes gain like 1 to 2 inches for every like 5 to 10 pounds lost. Right. Um, like that's a very rough estimate. It's not exact. Uh, like that in kilos. Like how
Mhm.
much is 5 pounds in kilos, Tom?
5 pounds in kilos is like 2.3 maybe.
2.3. So like every like
Two point
two
three kilos,
kilos.
5 pounds. Yeah, yeah.
So every like 2 kilos, you gain an inch on your vertical. Would you say that's accurate?
Well, if you're definitely one of those people that need to, but if you're someone like Stevie, I would say it would negatively impact him at this point.
Yeah, because he's not
He
going
would
to go
just
from 7% to 5%. That's not
it,
necessary.
that yeah, that's also something we do need to talk about. Yeah, but no,
We'll
go
get
on.
to
What are you saying?
yeah.
Yeah, you go.
We'll definitely get to that
Mm.
later in the podcast. But yeah, so it can actually have quite a good impact, even just in terms of like how your jumps feel. Like your ground contact times should decrease a little bit as well from getting lighter because you're about to amortize better, and your straight and shortening cycle will literally improve as well from getting lighter too. So especially if you're maintaining your strength to power at the same time.
Hmm.
Um, so what have been some examples of like our athletes, right? So like I know
Okay, yeah, yeah,
Hack
so many. Yeah,
more
that was my first one.
recently. He went on a bench press arc and got his bench press to 315 pounds, right? Because he wanted to focus on that more because he was dealing with a back injury, which is 140 kilos. He did that, he achieved that, but he got up to like 90 kilos in the process, and he was not nearly jumping as high. Like he was 10 kilos, like right, 10 kilos, right? He gained like 10
Literally 10
kilos,
kilos. Yeah.
and that negatively impacted his vert quite drastically. He couldn't windmill anymore. He was very sluggish when he jumped. He didn't look fast at all. And ever since he's focused on cutting back and gaining strength and prioritizing his leg strength more again, his verticals quite literally skyrocketed. He's windmilling on even on bad days now. He can windmill any day he wants almost now. I know he's
I
windmilled on
can.
10,
Yeah.
10 foot one at 6 foot, by the way. So, which is pretty awesome to
Correct.
see. He can, yeah, two hander very easily off the dribble. He can windmill off the dribble. He's almost hitting an East Bay off the lob as well. Literally just technique for him at the moment, whether he hits that or not. So he just from him getting lighter, like drastic change in how high he's jumping. Like that 10 kilos, like how many inches would you say added on his vertical, Tom?
5
Yeah, easily
at
5.
least.
Yeah,
Yeah.
easily 5. And then another guy that comes to mind um, that we trained back in 2023 was Sam. He went from rim
Oh
grazing like
yeah.
two
Shit.
handers to East Baying what 3 to 4 months.
Yeah. Bro, Sam was like a for American. He was a rugby player. So like most rugby players they're big guys. Like Sam was easily over 100 kg when he first came to us, and he was doing two handers at 6'3", 6'4", but they weren't like back scratches or anything crazy. I was doing some one handers, and he cut down. I think he got to maybe like 94 kg. So like probably around 10 kilos lost, and then his vert went up 5-6 inches. But his strength didn't go down. Also, got to keep that in mind. His strength stayed the same, if not, went up even a little bit.
That's the key. That's the
Yeah,
key. You can't have your strength go down. You can't have your power go down. Otherwise, your relative strength and power goes down, and then that's not going to equal jumping higher. It's just going to equal jumping lower by being lighter, and that's not what we want here. Then it's just wasted fat loss at that point.
yeah, yeah. We got some other examples. Like we've got Dylan from Sydney. He's going through a little fat loss arc at the moment, and guess what? He's jumping higher now that he's leaner and now that he's lighter. And actually, speaking of Dylan's, there a lot of people don't know this, but Dylan Hagen actually went on a mini bulk before dunk camp. Do you remember this, Austin? Before dunk camp
Yeah,
2024, Minnesota, I think,
yeah,
or Wisconsin, or whatever the camp was. He probably gained what 10, 15 pounds
yeah,
ish. Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah.
Some of it was muscle, obviously, because he's young and he's decently new to training, so he can definitely pack on muscle a little bit easier than someone like myself or Austin, just because of our training age and our actual like age. But yeah, he definitely gained some fat, and he knew that as well. And he kind of did this intentionally. He kind of just wanted to see what it would be like to be around that weight. Didn't really like it. Didn't increase his relative strength all that much. So before the camp, went on a mini cut, lost 10, 15 pounds. Pretty easy for him because of all the basketball he was playing. So he was burning a lot of calories. And then come Wisconsin camp, best dunks that he's ever hit, highest jumps he's ever had. I'm pretty sure he hit that. It was either lost and found or hide and seek. I'm not sure. I always get them confused. But he hit that first go in warm ups at 16 years old, which is insane. It's like no one knew what to like. No one knew how to react to that. They kind of just stood there and they were like, okay, that just happened. But yeah, bro, that's literally an example of someone who's like the most up and coming, someone who's could be one of the best dunkers of all time. Going through that exact same thing. So it's not just like I don't know how to word it. Not lower dunkers, but like not just recreational dunkers who are like basketball players slash dunkers. Literal professional dunkers are trying to get leaner as well.
Yeah. No, it was definitely insane to see for sure. Okay, so how to lose fat without losing strength and power, right?
Yep.
So number one, you gotta prioritize protein intake. This helps you maintain muscle, it helps you maintain strength, and also ensures you're recovering properly while losing fat and your muscle tissues are repairing uh, at a fast enough rate still. So you want to make sure you're aiming for at least 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight or um, kg, somewhere around somewhere 1.8 times your body weight in kg to 2 times your body weight in kg, around that sort of ballpark as well. Typically, if you're in a fat loss phase, it's better to eat a little bit more protein because it's more satiating as well. It'll help you keep you full.
Hmm.
So definitely want to prioritize protein. Number two, eat smarter, not just eat less. Like, so focus on higher volume foods. So this is where avoiding liquid calories will help a lot,
Mm.
and prioritizing foods that are lower in calories. So like more fruits, more vegetables, things like that. I don't know about you, Tom, but I've never seen someone overeat broccoli. I've never seen someone overeat chicken breast. I'm sure there's exceptions out there, but it's rare. you
Especially the
know,
broccoli, bro. Like yeah, broccoli, lettuce, carrot. Like you could have a kilo of those. I don't know what it would work out to, but like you're just not eating a kilo of that. Um, by the time you get
even
full,
yeah,
you're just not going to be in any kind of surplus.
no facts. Even watermelon, that's a hack as well. Watermelon is a huge hack. You can eat uh, like those quarter is a half or a quarter cut
I know the ones you're
watermelons.
talking about. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, a whole one of those is like 300 calories, like 300 calories.
That's cooked. Yeah.
It's insane. You can eat a
Unless,
whole.
unless, yeah. I was just gonna say, unless you're one of those psychos that eats the skin. People
Yeah,
do that, bro.
exactly. Yeah, those guys are crazy. Okay, so next thing, you gotta dial in your calories. So obviously, you gotta make sure you're not overeating and you're in a calorie
Mhm.
deficit. So you want to start in around a 200 to 500 calorie deficit below your maintenance level of calories to drop fat and not lose strength. So like you don't want to drop your calories by 1,000 calories because that's just a fast track to under recover, get injured, lose all your strength, and feel like absolute shit. So you need to
Pretty
start off
much.
small, 200 to 500 calorie deficit to start off with. All right.
Mhm.
I would even recommend actually before you do this is find your true maintenance level of calories because a lot of people don't truly know this. You can go on a calorie calculator and get a good estimate, but even then, what I would do is I would try to build up your calories to the point where as high as possible, to the point where uh, your body starts to actually gain a little bit of weight, and then find the highest point you can possibly have in terms of your calorie intake to where you're maintaining your weight and then start cutting back from there. That's going to
Yeah.
allow you to keep your calories as high as possible for as long as possible, rather than starting from a lower point and then cutting 200 to 500 when you could have been eating like a few hundred calories more and losing the same amount of weight. All right, that's a big mistake a lot of people make, and then they dig themselves into a big hole where they're eating the same amount of calories that a baby would when they don't need to be. They could be eating 500 more calories a day and losing and making the same progress, you know? So that's a big thing. Next thing is keep your training the same. So don't go and do all this extra cardio, you know, don't go, you know, go on the stepper for an extra 60 minutes a day, right? We're training to be powerful. We're training to be fast. We're not training for a marathon. You know, we're not bodybuilders here as well. We need to maintain our fast twitch fibers. So you want to keep your training relatively the same. Prioritize getting stronger still. Prioritize going out and sprinting. Do your plyos, you know, make that the main focus. Sprinting is going to be a big one as well, because sprinting it's gonna help maintain your fast twitch fibers, but also build more and get faster and get more elastic in the process. And it burns a lot of calories, so it's actually a bit of a cheat code into getting leaner. It's quite a hack into getting leaner. The other thing is as well is because your calories going to be a little bit lower, you might not be able to maintain the same volumes in your training. So reducing your volumes but keeping your intensity high in terms of your effort level and how much weight you're lifting and your intent and everything, that's going to be quite important there too.
I will say we've seen people potentially like overdo methods of, you know, burning extra calories so they can eat more food. And in like small moderation, it's definitely good. Like adding some extra steps, like going for 2 walks a day instead of 1, so like 2 15-minute walks. That's good because you'll burn a little bit of extra calories. But you don't want to start getting to the point where you're adding in so much extra stuff so you can burn more calories. And you start getting negative side effects. Like Austin said, you know, you're going to be building slow twitch fibers, but the actual just like general fatigue that you'll be building from that will begin to offset your, you know, actual vert training, which at the end of the day, you're trying to jump higher. So, you know, you can get down to 5% dick skin lean. But if you've got all these slow twitch fibers because of all the cardio you've been doing and, you know, you're always tired, it doesn't matter if you're lean at that point, does it?
Yeah. Even walking, you got to be careful with that too. Like, yeah, it's definitely a good idea to increase how much you're moving throughout the day. So I would definitely, if your step count is low, definitely increasing that. That's a really good idea, but not to the point where, you know, you're walking like, you know, 15,000 steps a day.
Yeah.
You know, if you're not used to that, it's gonna make you feel heavy. It's gonna make your legs feel dead. Your calves are gonna be dead. So don't go too crazy on the walking. Increasing is a good idea, but just don't go insane, you know?
Yeah.
Okay. So how to stay full while cutting? Because a lot of people have trouble with like getting hungry, and then, you know, it makes it quite hard to stick to being in a calorie deficit if you're just getting too hungry. Right. So we touched on this a little bit before, but yeah, load up on the fruits, load up on the vegetables, you know, eat a lot more of that sort of stuff. You know, increase your water intake, ensure you're eating more fiber. All right. Because you can quite easily make it feel like you're eating more without actually eating extra calories through doing these things. You know, like fruit is quite low in calories. You know, it's very hard to overeat that sort of stuff. You know, reducing the liquid calories as much as possible as well. Yeah, so just drinking water before meals and with meals can help quite a lot too. If you like sparkling water, that's quite a hack as well, because that does fill you up and can, I guess, curb hunger too. Some people don't like the bubbles in water and all that, but that's quite a hack. Even just sugar-free soft drinks, that's a hack too.
So, sure, bro, for sure. Because yeah, bro, the sugar's gonna be so dense in calories, and it's liquid calories as well. So it's just a short way of, you know, getting a lot of calories in for no, you know, feeling you're just not going to feel full after that. You're going to be wanting something else in like 20 minutes.
Yeah. No, facts. Facts. So those are definitely some hacks there to make it easier to be in a calorie deficit.
Mhm.
The last thing, and this is one of the biggest points, is you need to do it slowly. Right? If you try to lose fat too fast, and this is where a lot of athletes mess up, and it can be the biggest mistake a lot of guys make, is they try to lose fat too quickly because everyone's always in a rush with things that want results now. But if you take that route, then you're going to run into issues. You're going to start under recovering. You're not going to be able to jump because you're going to have no energy. You're going to start losing strength. You're going to get more niggles here and there, pain here and there.
100%.
It's not going to be good. So you can't rush it. You have to do it slowly. A good goal is to lose. I would encourage no more than half a kilo a week, and even that's quite fast. I would say a really good point to be at is around 0.3 of a kilo per week. That's a really safe bet. You can try going far. You can try going faster than that and see how you feel. If you feel okay, then yeah, go for it. But yeah, that's a good kind of point to be at in terms of how fast. So then 0.5 a week would mean around 2 kilos a month.
Yeah. I will say this though. Generally, the higher your body fat, so if you're someone in the 20% body range, you can afford to lose fat a little bit quicker. But if you're someone who's like 15% trying to get to 10%, that's when you got to be really careful and do it slow, because you do not want to be making massive jumps at that leanness that you are already. But if you're definitely like higher, especially if you're like 30%, then you probably could get away with like half a kilo a week, maybe even more. Again, you got to be very careful and see how you feel, but it really is, person to person dependent. But Austin's rule of 0.3 is just, very safe bet. You're going to be getting results, so there's no reason not to stick to that because we're not in a rush here.
Yeah, you always got to think long term with jump training. You got to not just think about tomorrow or next week. You got to think about in 8 weeks' time.
Mm-hmm.
And when you shift your mindset to thinking in this way, it's ironically you actually progress faster because you're making better decisions with your training and you're not trying to rush the process. And very often people get very caught up in getting a little bit emotional and worried about not getting results and all that sort of stuff, so they try to rush it. But in the long term and even in the short term, it holds people back. So
yeah, for sure, bro.
Okay, so the bottom line is getting leaner, losing body fat. It's going to get you jumping higher as long as you maintain your strength, as long as you maintain your power. All right, you got to keep building that strength. Like at the end of the day, body fat, it's dead weight. So improving your power to weight ratio, improving your relative strength is going to get you. It's going to get you jumping higher. It's quite a hack in terms of getting it faster, even just in terms of general athleticism. If you're a basketball player, it's going to get you changing direction quicker, accelerating quicker. Everything's going to get better, right? So if you're stuck in a jump plateau, losing the extra fat might actually be the missing piece for you. So I would definitely go away and assess if that's something you need to focus on. But yeah, if you guys are looking to get trained by us and you're interested in getting trained by us, there will be a link down below where you can sign up.
Mm-hmm.
And was there anything else you wanted to add, Tom?
No, I think that's a good point to leave it off, for sure. No, that's good.
Okay, easy. So eat smarter, guys. Stay bouncy and trust the process. And we'll catch you guys in the next podcast.
Yes, sir. Long-term game, maybe.